This is the Wiiviewer!
The Lilwiiviewer!
And the LittlestWiiviewer!
And we're gonna review
Rhythm Heaven Fever!
For the Wii!
This one was actually requested a lot by people, and I kind of get why. Because it's a fun, quirky little game. Wasn't this originally a DS game?
It was, and then they decided to make a Wii version of the game with new games, new style, better graphics.
I never actually played the DS version. Was it really that much different?
This one had more actions to do, while the other one made you do pretty much just 1 or 2 actions. Also, bigger screens, so it could fit more stuff, so more stuff happens.
Did either one of you play Rhythm Heaven for the DS?
Yes.
What'd you think of it, LittlestWiiviewer?
I thought it was a little too hard back then.
How about this game? Was it just as difficult?
No.
So you actually find this one easier than the DS version?
I'd say it's the same difficulty, but you just have to get used to it.
You're just so much better now?
Yes.
What'd you think of the graphics in this one?
This game actually had one of the best cartoony graphics in its style I've seen.
You know what it reminded me of? Frou Frou Park. Do you remember that game back in my first season of doing reviews? That one was another quirky Japanese graphical adventure.
It's not the perfect graphics, yet they're not bad.
Okay, I would agree with you. I mean, it's just the rhythm of the beat sort of game, so you don't really need to have like superb graphics. All you have to do is just have a few goofy characters on screen while you're trying to keep the beat. When you get down to it, that's all this game is. A rhythm game, which oddly enough doesn't use the motion controls at all.
I think it's a good idea for the motion controls not to be used, because sometimes the motion controls can be super sensitive and it can screw up the gameplay.
LittlestWiiviewer, what'd you think of the variety of the games they had to offer?
They were actually quite good. They never really got boring, and every one changed up a bit.
Then they were also amusing. I liked the little animations that they would have when you lose or when you do something good. It was just funny.
I think that this game has a really good selection of games. A lot of them are different from each other, like having to press a button in a different way. But the only problem is sometimes it's just the same exact thing as another game, just retextured, looks different, and motions are different.
What'd you think of the overall difficulty level of this whole game?
I think it has a really big difficulty curve. Like, they have like 5 easy mini games at the beginning, and some of them aren't even easy at that. The upside of all this hard difficulty and stuff is that once you play the game 3 times, you can head on over to the cafe, and the cafe lady will ask if you're having trouble with the game, and you can skip the game entirely and move on to the next one.
There is one thing I do want to bring up, and that's the music in this game, which is outstanding. It just has some really fun background music while you're playing this game. So lastly, I want to talk about the multiplayer.
The multiplayer games are basically the same games as single player, just another player gets to play them with or against you. They have a lot less multiplayer games than single player games, and that's a bad thing. Cause you're gonna get bored of playing the same game over and over again, cause maybe you'll be stuck on a game and there's no cafe for you to get help from. They tally up all your grades in a big potluck, and together they base on which grade is bigger and less, and if you're closer together. And the closer you are together, the more bonus points you'll get for the potluck to maybe inch you up to win the game.
Rhythm Heaven Fever, LittlestWiiviewer. Would you buy, rent, or skip?
I'm kind of inching to a buy, but probably a rent. You should rent it first before you see if it's the type of game you'd like.
How about you, LittlesWiiviewer? Would you buy, rent, or skip?
I think it's worth a buy. It has more content than the DS game.
And I think it's only worth the rent. Now, I'm sure there's going to be people out there going, what? No, this game is awesome. I think it's worth a buy. Hey, I'm not saying the game is bad. It's far from bad. I'm just saying it can get really repetitive. I just don't see it's worthy of keeping around and wanting to play over and over again, which is one of my things that I have to agree with in order to say it's worth a buy. But it's absolutely worth a rent.